Hey everyone, and welcome back to Joey's Retro Handhelds. I'm Joey, and today we're going to be doing a fun little video. We're going to talk about Pokemon Romhacks, and I have 10 more for you from the last video that I did. And we're going to do it across 10 different handhelds. I only have one in front of me, but the video is going to show 10 different ones, so you'll have a few to look at. So you can look at Pokemon Romhacks and handhelds and see both. Now, if you missed my last video, I did a Pokemon ROM hack video for the Mew Mini Plus, and there was 10 different ROM hacks that I had there. There was Light Platinum, Ultraviolet, Crystal Clear, Perfect Fire Red, Radical Red, Gaia, Prism, Glazed, Rocket Edition, and Unbound. That's a pretty good list to start with, I think, but I found 10 more, so that's what today's video is going to be. 10 more ROM hacks for you to play on any of your retro handhelds or anywhere else that you want. If you need a guide on how to patch these ROM hacks, then check the description. I'll have my written guide there so you can check that out and you'll learn how to do so. No particular order today, but let's start off with Pokemon AshGray. And we're going to be using the Retroid Pocket 5. I guess I should have mentioned that all of these games actually do have retro achievement support, except for the last one, and I'll count that out. So AshGray might actually be my favorite on this list, because you play as Ash Ketchum from the show, and you have a chance to catch all of the same Pokemon that Ash does. It goes through all of the same events and all that sort of thing, and it just follows this show, basically word for word, scene for scene, all of that. So just imagine the show in game form, and that's what AshGray is. But honestly, this adds a ton. There is new sprites, tiles, maps, tools to replace HMs, and so much more. This is a great ROM hack, and I highly recommend it. Plus, who doesn't want to just play through the story all over again and have the same experiences? This is a super cool ROM hack, so you should check it out. Then we have Pokemon Adventure Red, or Chapter Red, something like that, and we're playing it on the Magic X Mini 028. So exactly like how AshGray is trying to tell the story of the anime, Adventure Red is trying to tell the story of the manga. Which, by the way, if you haven't read it yet, you definitely should. It is great, and it is very different than the story of Pokemon that you're aware of. It's a lot darker. This story follows you through Kanto and the Orange Archipelago? I don't know if that's how you say Archipelago. You know what I mean. Plus the beginning of the Elite Four. So there's a lot for you to get through in this game. But basically, every event is in here, and they extend out some of the events from the manga here as well to make it more of a game. Now, you do play as Red, of course, and both of your rivals are in this, Green and Blue. There's multiple regions, there's better visuals, and it's a lot. Without spoiling anything, it's great. The interesting part about this ROM hack specifically is the sequel to it is actually going to be a fan game instead of a ROM hack. So you could think of it as something like Rejuvenation or Reborn or Uranium, games like that. That's what's going to happen next for this series. Pokemon Sword and Shield Ultimate Plus is next, and we are playing on the Ambernic RG Cube XX. I guess I should have just called this video the Pokemon ROM hacks that are adapted from other sources, because as the name implies, this is Pokemon Sword and Shield Ultimate Plus, and it is a demake of Sword and Shield that is on the Nintendo Switch, except it is now for the Game Boy Advance. You get the full story from Sword and Shield, full Isle of Armor and Crown Tundra post-game, and there's a whole bunch more like Gigantamax and... is that how you say it? Gigantamax? You know what I mean. Gigantamax. There we go. Gigantamax. Mega Evolution, Z-Moves, and more. This is a faithful demake that you should check out. It's actually really good. Then we have Pokemon DarkViolet, and we are playing on the Ambernic RG406H. This is based on Pokemon Fire Red, and DarkViolet is a remake of Pokemon Red and Green. So you're in Kanto, and there's a ton of story changes and additions that flesh things out. There's been some changes to the characters that you know, and they have different roles in this game. There's a total of 210 Pokemon, with the original 151, plus some of the newer evolutions of those and newer legendaries. A lot of newer moves were added as well, and the sprites are a mix of Game Boy Advance and Nintendo DS, for the most part. I'm a simple man. You give me more Gen 1, I play more Gen 1. Speaking of Gen 1, Pokemon WaterBlue is up next, and we are playing on the Retroid Pocket Mini. This is a Pokemon Fire Red hack, and you follow Blue's perspective as he battles Red to become the Pokemon League champion. Yeah, that's right. So you are playing as blue this time instead of red, and it has a Blastoise on the title screen, so you know that I'm all in, but it's also just super fun to just go through the story and see it from a different perspective. And in the beginning, when you talk to red, it's just ellipses and periods, and it's just the same way that you meet red in silver. It's the same idea here, but it's just fun to kind of see the world through a different perspective. But otherwise, you're just going through the story as blue, so I don't know what else you need, but it's cool. Pokemon Polished Crystal is up next, and this is on the Analog Pocket. So not every game on this list is for the Game Boy Advance. This ROM hack, which is Polished Crystal, is of course based off of Pokemon Crystal for the Game Boy Color. There is a lot of changes here, and there's lots of changes to the story, with some characters showing up that weren't there before, and some characters that were there and no longer are. There's new areas added, there's new in-game events, there's a Nuzlocke mode that's built in, and there's a bunch more. This actually might be the best enhanced Crystal ROM hack out there. It is pretty polished in all honesty, and all puns are intended. Pokemon Fool's Gold is up next, and we are playing on the Miu Mini Plus, but this is a very different Crystal ROM hack than Polished Crystal is. All of the Pokemon have been reworked here. All 251 Pokemon are available without trading. Trainers and wild Pokemon have been changed, and there's a bunch of other changes. There's a ton of fun alternate forms in Fool's Gold. They basically applied the Alolan type thing of just changing everything to be per region, and so a lot of the Pokemon just look a lot different in this game. If you're looking for a different spin on Crystal, then this is it. The last Gen 2 game here, and is Pokemon Gold and Silver, 97 Reforged, and we were playing on the TrimUI brick. And yeah, there's two games, it's Gold and Silver. These ROM hacks are based off of the 1997 demo of Pokemon Gold and Silver, and the different Pokemon designs that were in that demo. So you are exploring the Nihon region with an entirely new story. There's new beta Pokemon with Crystal's graphics, and a whole bunch more. They basically just made the Space World 1997 demo into a full game. With all of those sprites, they adjusted the trainers, the movesets, the battle tower from Crystal is in here, and it keeps going. Once again, this is a different spin on Generation 2, but it's a fun spin, so you should try it out. Now, I know what you're thinking, Joey, I want something different. These are all kind of the same. Pokemon Emerald Rogue V2, and we're playing on the Retroid Pocket 2S, is exactly what you want. So what if Pokemon was a roguelike? That's what Emerald Rogue V2 is. There's actually a V1 of this game too, so you have two games to play if you want them. You basically go on a procedurally generated adventure, and you encounter gym leaders and champions along the way. But obviously, if you've played any roguelike games before, you know that you can buy items, you can catch new Pokemon, and so on to keep progressing, as well as permanent items too, to make sure that it's a little bit easier every time you start a new run. If you've ever been like, man, I really love Dead Cells and I wish I could have a Pokemon version of Dead Cells, this is exactly what you get. There is a ton of customization, settings, and everything. You can play this ROM hack forever. There's a lot of content. Last on today's list, and the only game that does not have retro achievements, but it is Pokemon Emerald Seaglass, and we are playing on the AYN Odin 2 portal. This is a Game Boy Advance ROM hack with Game Boy Color aesthetics, and it is based on the Hoenn region, or, well, it's a modified Hoenn region. All Gen 1 through Gen 3 Pokemon are here, along with more. There is a new battle engine, new mini-games and events. Your Pokemon can follow you, which should just be a feature in every single game, and there's adjustable difficulty and a whole bunch more. The graphics and designs are the best part of this ROM hack, along with the wide variety of just Pokemon that you can catch. This is a must-play on the list for sure. I just wish it had retro achievement support. That is all I have for you today, but if you wanted a quick list of maybe 3 for you to just jump in real quickly, because 10 might be too much for you, I would suggest Pokemon AshGray, Pokemon Adventure Red, and Pokemon Emerald Seaglass. Those would be my 3 jump-in points for you to check out. But either way, you now have 20 different games across 2 different videos for you to just play some Pokemon ROM hacks, and that should keep you busy for the next 4 or so years until more come out. Don't forget to like and sub to help the channel grow. Come join me on the Discord to talk all about retro handhelds and Pokemon if you want to. Support me on Patreon if you like my stuff. And Hope you all have a good one.